The first three dynasties of Egypt laid the foundations of the governmental structure that would dominate Egyptian history for nearly 3,000 years, the institution of the pharaoh. Early pharaohs sustained their authority through several overlapping sources of power. One of the most obvious was direct displays of power. Pharaohs commissioned colossal building projects, vast tombs, temples, and monuments, not only for religious purposes but also to demonstrate their immense administrative control. Coordinating these projects required the ability to mobilize labor, resources, and expertise on a massive scale, all of which reinforced the king's authority. Religion was another critical pillar of pharaonic power. Royal theologians crafted a national religious ideology centered on the person of the king. Local cults and religious symbols were absorbed into this ideology and linked directly to the pharaoh. Various gods, most notably Horus, became associated with the king, serving as his divine protectors as well as guardians of the royal family. Imagery also played a key role. Pharaohs were commonly depicted wearing multicolored crowns that visually symbolized the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. These images constantly reminded the population that the king embodied the unity and stability of the state itself. For these reasons, the heart and soul of Egyptian civilization was its monarchy. Even the word pharaoh reflects this reality. It derives from the Egyptian term meaning great house, referring to the royal palace. In other words, the pharaoh was literally the one who lived in the big house. This concept is surprisingly familiar to modern audiences. We often refer to political power by the name of a building, the White House, 10 Downing Street, or the Vatican, distinguishing the office from the person who holds it. In Egypt, this separation between office and office holder appears for the first time in history. The government of Egypt was, quite literally, the palace. The treasury and granaries were typically located in or near it. Over time, the office of the king became the single most important institution in Egyptian life. Pharaohs enjoyed extraordinary power and prestige. They were believed to be responsible for guaranteeing security, prosperity, and cosmic order. In theory, their task was simple: ensure the sun rose in the east, set in the west, and that the Nile flooded at the proper time. To the Egyptians, the pharaohs seemed to perform this task exceptionally well. In general, pharaohs did not personally appoint priests or most officials. These positions were usually held by prominent families and passed down through generations, though a pharaoh could intervene when necessary. He was far more directly involved in warfare, as depicted in temple reliefs showing pharaohs riding chariots and directing battles. Unlike Mesopotamia, where kings ruled as representatives of the gods, Egyptians believed their king was himself divine. Pharaohs were gods in human form. Even before the political unification of Egypt, kings had been associated with Horus, a solar deity, as well as the god of war and hunting. This connection suggests that early kings may have come to power through force. This divine status also helps explain certain royal practices, including sibling marriage. Horus's mother was the sister of his father, and pharaohs imitated this divine pattern by marrying sisters or half-sisters to enhance their legitimacy and that of their heirs. This practice was especially common during periods of political instability. Cleopatra, Egypt's last pharaoh, married her own brother as part of this long-standing tradition. Pharaohs were also linked to Ra, the great sun god, and to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. According to mythology, Osiris was the ideal king, just and benevolent, until his jealous brother Seth murdered him, introducing evil into the world. Osiris retained his kingship by ruling in the afterlife, where only the righteous could enter his kingdom. Pharaohs, therefore, embodied both life and death, order in this world and authority in the next. Egyptians saw nature itself as a cycle of death and rebirth. The sun rose and set each day. The year died and was reborn with the Nile's annual flood. Since the gods were part of nature and the pharaoh was a god, his reign followed the same pattern. One pharaoh after another was born, ruled, died, and was reborn symbolically as the next ruler, each an iteration of the sun god overseeing Egypt and representing it among the other deities. In theory, pharaonic power was absolute. The pharaoh commanded the army ran the government, supervised trade and religion, dispensed justice, coordinated food production, and sponsored Egypt's artisans. His chief responsibility was to maintain Ma'at, the cosmic balance between order and chaos, Isfet. Opposition to the pharaoh was not merely illegal, it was blasphemous, because it threatened the stability of the universe itself. Enemies of Egypt were viewed as agents of chaos, and it was the king's sacred duty to defeat them. Pharaohs were believed to own everything and everyone in Egypt. Beyond earthly administration, they were also responsible for ensuring the sun rose, the Nile flooded properly, crops flourished, and the population prospered. This immense power allowed pharaohs to mobilize Egypt for vast public works, including irrigation systems, monumental architecture, and large-scale military campaigns. Theoretically, the only limitation on a pharaoh's authority was the expectation that he rule justly and preserve Ma'at. In practice, however, his authority was limitless. Egyptian art consistently depicts the pharaoh associated with scales, symbolizing balance and justice. Egypt never developed a formal written law code because the law was simply the will of the pharaoh. He issued declarations, and it was the duty of his chief official, the vizier, to enforce them. As both administrator and supreme judge, the vizier often functioned as the practical head of government, sometimes making it difficult to distinguish between the roles of vizier and king. Egypt's geography helped sustain this system. The kingdom was stable, isolated from most invasions, and benefited from the Nile's predictable and benevolent flooding. There was little reason to challenge the political order. Security legitimized the pharaoh, and the pharaoh legitimized security.